We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Oh, Dorothy, the Wicked Witch is dead. I, of course, am referring to the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs are no longer the reigning Super Bowl champions, thanks to the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles literally bent them over their knee and spanked them into oblivion the other night. It was a glorious Super Bowl for all those that weren't Kansas City Chiefs fans, and there is so much hubbub and talk in Broncos Country about so many things. Broncos Country, this is going to be a fun show. I'm really excited. Welcome to the post-Super Bowl edition of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. Let's freaking go.
Smooth, the pins to chew, breaking down plays about to debut. Never pride in every view, nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Bright lights of my heart in our view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. From draft picks to game reviews, celebrating wins and analyzing the clues. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. No orange and blue.
Nothing rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
Oh, boy.
Oh my God.
What is up, Broncos Country? And how you doing, Orange and Blue crew? I know you're just doing just as good as me with the knowledge that the Kansas City Chiefs got literally, and I mean literally, drop kicked off their pedestal on Sunday night. Oh, what a feeling it was. I'm Johnny Baki, the Mile High Viking, and with me, as always, my co-host, my childhood best friend, and my cousin, Jay, the Denver Dreamweaver. Weaver, what's up, cuz?
What is up, Johnny? Thank God Almighty. The dragon has been slayed. And I feel like it deserves one more of these.
Oh my God.
Because you want to see a dead body? That is what we saw in the Super Bowl, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Stand by me there. You guys want to see a dead body?
Fantastic. But having a good night, man.
And that dead body is the dynasty of the Kansas City Chiefs right there. God, man, it felt so good to be I can say Broncos fan, but just to be a fan of anybody but the Chiefs. Because let's be honest, all of America, I'm pretty sure all of America, if you weren't from Kansas City or you weren't a Kansas City Chiefs fan, was rooting for the guys in green on Sunday night. And not only did the Eagles go out there, and as David Yonkin comes in popping in saying curb stomped, they literally, that's the only way to say it. I mean, they destroyed them. It was the worst game in Patrick Mahomes' career.
The worst game he's ever had. I said to many people that I know haven't watched as many Mahomes games as me while I was watching the Super Bowl and said, like, no, guys, like, this is literally the worst game Patrick Mahomes has ever played.
Yes.
And it wasn't even close.
Not even close.
He looked like he was seeing ghosts out there with happy feet around the pocket. And I'm sure we'll get into maybe some nuts and bolts as to why that is. But, like, we have the blueprint, if we didn't know it already, how to beat that team.
We already knew it, because we beat them. We came this close to beating them once and then beat them the second time this season. We know the blueprint. It's out there. It's now it's just a matter of, can we improve while they stay, while they plateau?
I will say, and hats off to the crowd in New Orleans for the game. Usually the Super Bowl is a pretty stuffy crowd because it's full of suits and not real fans. but we saw the fans collectively booing Taylor Swift, Ariza, their punter, the general Kansas City crowd in and itself. Like their tunnel walkout was under boos. Like,
Yeah.
the crowd couldn't have been more right. So shout out to them for, having their head on straight for the game as well.
And can we also maybe this is just me. Maybe this is just my observation after watching the game. But can we speak to how much the dynamic of a Kansas City Chiefs game changes when the refs call a fair game?
Yeah. Dude, that offensive pass interference on A.J. Brown on that 4th down play to start the game. I know I myself looked at everybody. I was like, oh, are we starting this
Here
already?
we go.
Are we going already here?
Right.
And honestly, from that point on, you would say there wasn't a single call that was like blatantly went Kansas City's way.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, like the very next penalty call, the one that went against the Eagles,
was a makeup call.
Was questionable in and of itself against the Chiefs.
I agree.
So
I agree.
They made up for it, but they called a fair game. And honestly, I mean, let's be honest. The only reason it's happening now is because they're getting called out across the nation. It was happening in interviews all week on Radio Row in New Orleans. People asking them like, so how many Christmas gifts have you given referees, Pat? And, asking questions of even the commissioner. And at this point, the NFL had to be like, okay, dude, we got to make sure.
Terrell Owens had a post. Did you see the comments that he made post game, like post Super Bowl? Of that?
I don't think I did. I heard about it, but I don't think I actually heard the comments.
So in a nutshell, basically what he said was that, guys, the script was that this was supposed to be a 3-peat and Taylor Swift and like the whole shebang. That's what it was supposed to be. And we had so much pressure on Goodell and the front office of the NFL because there were so many outspoken fans and critics and analysts on TV pointing it out that us as the people made the NFL buckle and made the NFL kneel before the trueness of the game and not the greed of the game. And that is a victory for all of us NFL fans. And we all should stand behind that and be, honestly, very happy about ourselves. We made a difference. I honestly believe that.
We the people, and you're absolutely right. And that's what I've been saying ever since Sunday is that, that the fans actually as a whole, people, I don't know if you saw it, Jay, but there were people on Twitter saying that if they saw the refs calling an unfair game in the Super Bowl and continuing to do exactly the way that they've been doing not even just all this last season, for years now, if they saw
3 years.
In this Super Bowl, they would they were actually signing boycotts and like full on like petitions to boycott the NFL. And the NFL knows that the fans will bring them the money, man.
Yeah.
The more people watching football, the more money the NFL gets from the networks. The more merchandise gets bought. People start boycotting, and a lot of people from the things that I saw.
And we've talked about boycotts in the past, but this was a boycott that would hold true because this is a football issue. This isn't a political issue.
Nope.
This isn't any of the other crap that we have boycotted the NFL previously to.
This isn't kneeling during the national anthem.
No, this is an NFL football issue for football fans.
This is the integrity of the game. This is for all those of us who hold this game, and I do. I know you do too. We hold this game sacred.
Yeah.
And then you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It was justified, and we the people, we affected the change. Now, here's what we have to hope that change continues.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It happened. We saw it take place in the Super Bowl. That is not to say, though, that it couldn't skew the other way again next season during the regular season. Yep. So here's hoping that we've affected the change and that now the change lasts.
Yeah. No, we need to stay vigilant. Week 1 through week 18 next year of making sure we call out all the BS that is, any team, not just Kansas City. I was in favor of calling out the BS when they did it for the Patriots. and previous teams before that. It isn't like we've covered before. This isn't a new phenomenon for the NFL.
No. Heck, there was even bias. There was even bias for us, the Broncos, when Peyton was here.
There absolutely was.
I think, but I think what has to, I absolutely agree with you. I think what has to change is that we double down on this, on like you said, on keeping this change, going, for forever. Because I don't want bias for my own team. Like I said, I hold this game sacred.
Yep.
If you got it, and this is one of the reasons why, like when Deflategate happened and stuff, I was so furious, is because if you have, if you're the best, Tom Brady, you know what? God bless him. Okay. I loved his commentary during the Super Bowl, by the way. He's changed. I think he's turned over a new leaf in life since he left New England. I really do. So I've warmed a bit to Tom Brady from what he used to be to me. But I was so flippantly pissed when Deflategate happened, because to me, it's like, you're the GOAT, dude. Everybody knows it. You're the greatest quarterback who has ever played. You and you know it, and everybody knows it. Why do you got to cheat to win? It's the same with LeBron James. Let's go NBA for a second. LeBron James claims he's the greatest ever, but he flops a lot.
Foul baiter.
And it drives me crazy when I watch him. I understand that playing out some hits and stuff is part of the game of basketball. I get that. But when it's so obvious and so blatant, it disgusts me, because I'm like, if you're the greatest in the world, your play should be able to speak for itself. You shouldn't have to resort to those types of tactics. And so I hold this game so sacred. And so, would it be nice if we got some referee bias towards the Broncos in the future? Absolutely. But I don't want it. I don't want it ever. I want to win this game on our talent alone. I want our guys to win this game on their talent. Yes.
Yep.
So it was, the Super Bowl was great. We've already got plenty of people in the comments. We're going to hit you guys up here in just a second. But before we do, welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. If you have not already, or this is your very first time on either network, please jump on over to Orange and Blue Network on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Check out the audio version of our podcast, wherever you find all your favorites. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, comment, ding that little notification bell so you know when any of our shows go live and you don't miss out on any of our awesome content. We're also partnered with and simulcast on MHRT Network. So please jump on over to MHRT Network, like, subscribe, share, comment, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, even on Instagram. Show our partners and friends over there some love, and we really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very, very much. So last but not least, show a little love tonight to the sponsor of tonight's show. The link's in the bio below. That is Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend over at dubby.gg. Dubby is absolutely amazing stuff, you guys. It comes in a multitude of flavors and has all the caffeine you need to get you the kick in your pants to start your day and get through your day. 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine in every single cup of Dubby. However, Dubby is different, because with Dubby, you're not going to get the jitters or the crash later, because it has no sugar. It has no calories. It has no maltodextrin or fillers or artificial colors. It's as natural as it can be. Amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics, including their patented neurofactor, that keeps you sharp throughout your day. And the caffeine in Dubby is derived directly from the coffee plant. So guys, I'm telling you, look at all these wonderful flavors just scrolling by. We swear by Dubby. You're going to want to do the same. So what I'm going to do for you now is make it a little bit sweeter when you go get your first thing of Dubby. At the checkout, you're going to punch in code NRWOB10. That's NRWOB10. That'll get you 10% off your order at checkout. Guys, go on over to Dubby. Get yourself a dub. Oh, D-Rock saying he actually purchased some Dubby. Did you use the code, buddy?
He did.
So.
I saw the notification he did, actually. I was going to ask sometime on one of these shows, like, who out there purchased some Dubby? Because I can't see the name, but I saw that you did it. So
D-Rock says he got the beach and peach flavor. That's one of my favorites. It's in my top 2. So I hope you like it, brother.
There you go.
All right. Let's get to some of our commenters. Just one second.
I was gonna say, let me start here with D-Rock's Lakers, because I do have a couple two cents for that. I hope you enjoyed Luka's debut. I can understand why you would be excited as a Laker fan, but just understand and know that your team is extremely flawed and you are very top heavy. And good luck, because you
Also
have no
small.
one to stop Jokic. Absolutely
Also
no
small.
one to stop Jokic. No one.
You know, ever since that trade fell through for a big man at center. Whew.
Yeah,
Whew.
dude, I feel
Whew.
Dalton Connect. He's a Colorado native, actually. I feel super bad for him because he's a stellar first-round draft pick. So too bad for him because he looks miserable being a Laker now. I don't blame him, but
That is what it is. Hey,
NBA
how
playoffs
about our Nuggets, buddy, who are currently on a 7-game win streak?
Oh, dude, we all should be in Browntown right now. Dude, Christian Brown is him.
Brown.
He is him.
He is him.
Super
He
excited
is
about
they.
that.
He is that guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Everyone should
and
be happy.
the fact I know, Jay, you were telling me that there was a great chance we'd see a Michael Porter Jr. move happen before the trade deadline. Guess what? Didn't happen. And I'm all for it. The way the MPJ has been playing these last couple weeks, dude, there was no way we would just let him go.
I agree. And I think
this team is starting to fire on all cylinders.
They are. Murray's finally getting it cooking. So we're going to be just fine. Our defense is going to be perfectly fine in the playoffs. So don't worry.
Especially once we get Peyton Watson back from that from his sprain.
Yeah. But you know what? I will give a little bit of leeway for the Lakers. Enjoy your fun little toy you have now, but it's just that. It's just a little fun toy. So ain't gonna mean anything in the playoffs.
That doesn't change our love for the man who posted that comment, Mr. D-Rock, that guy. True. So many names that we've got for him. Shadow Jacker, once upon a time.
Oh yes, it's been a hot second for that.
We got, like I said, I've already given some love to his comment already, one of his comments, but David Yonkin in the house. This Super Bowl was so much fun to watch, considering everyone that came over was a Chiefs fan. So I talked so much crap.
Oh, yeah.
Love it, buddy. Love it. Michael Yost, my buddy, saying, "Let's go." I'm on cloud 9 and my team didn't even play in the Super Bowl. Like, isn't it sad how excited we are as fans of another team that wasn't in it at the outcome of it?
I will say that's the most enjoyable Super Bowl I have witnessed that is a non-Bronco Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I will easily gladly say that.
I didn't have anybody over. Like I told you last week when you were like, "So what are you doing for the Super Bowl, Johnny?" I was like, "Dude, I'm not making a big deal out of this. I'll make some food. I'm going to sit on my couch by myself. I'm going to watch the game." I watched it with my wife. And believe it or not, my sons, all 3 of them, sat down there almost the entire game. I was shocked because they don't do that with football. Good. But it was a good time. But I didn't make a whole big deal out of it. But I had people texting me left and right from all over the country. And one of them was like, they've brought up something blasphemous, but they are absolutely right. They reminded them and me afterwards a lot of Super Bowl 48 for the Broncos.
Yeah, it did.
It fell apart. It fell apart at the beginning for the Chiefs, just like it fell apart for the Broncos at the beginning.
Yep.
And it just tracked that way all game long until garbage time. People were sitting there texting me, "Oh, yeah, the Chiefs are scoring. And I'm like, it's garbage time. It doesn't matter. There is no way in hell they can come back with this deficit. And at one point, the Eagles were up 36-0.
Hollow stats, Xavier Worthy. Hollow stats.
That was the biggest deficit in Patrick Mahomes' career.
Yeah, man.
And Travis Kelce didn't even get a catch till the second half.
Yeah. Dude, it was a culmination of everything perfect. It really was. That game could not have gone better.
And I guess Brittany Mahomes just forgot to sacrifice a goat beforehand.
I guess so. T Swift looked perturbed because she got booed. That was honestly one of my favorite parts of the night. Is she looking over at the camera and being like, what's going on right now? She literally mouthed that to the person she was sitting next to. What's going on? Why are they
She doesn't
booing
get
me?
booed. She doesn't get booed anywhere she goes.
Yep.
But now that's like literally probably the first experience in her entire life of
Bravo
being
to
booed.
the crowd. Seriously.
And
bravo
and
to
by
that
the way,
crowd.
not to get all political with it, but did you notice that the crowd cheered Donald Trump being there, but
Well,
booed Taylor Swift?
there are mixed things about
Well,
that.
okay.
But the same thing with Taylor Swift, I heard actually as well. There was a lot of piping of sounds coming out of speakers for a lot of different things.
Ah,
So
fair enough. All right.
Same with T Swift. I saw the same thing about T Swift. Like people
I can
actually
dig
weren't booing T Swift, but
I can
I'm gonna
dig
take
it.
I'm taking it.
Absolutely. We got let's see, David Yonkin coming in agreeing with us. Mahomes looked scared. D-Rock saying, "Who knew we just needed voodoo?" That's
I
right.
saw
They
the
were in
lady with the
bayou.
voodoo doll. Did you see the voodoo doll of Patrick Mahomes? Oh my god, perfect.
What happens when you send the Chiefs down to the bayou?
Yeah.
You know,
And-
David Yonkin saying some people were calling the Chiefs the Kansas City refs.
Yep, I was.
D-Rock saying someone's check bounced.
Yep.
Seems
like it.
There was some fake news going around that the NFL had suspended and fined one of the referees from the Buffalo game for that blatant missed call of Josh Allen crossing that line. Yeah, the fourth down. That was absolutely a fabrication. So anybody who went and was like, "Oh my God, finally," that did not happen. It is a fake story. It is clickbait and it is not real. So don't get all excited about that. Jack Kenna, our local Raider fan, hopping in saying, "Salute, gentlemen. What a wonderful Super Bowl." Absolutely.
AFC West rejoice.
Yeah. D-Rock bringing up a point that I was excited to bring up tonight. Shout out to Zach Bond. Welcome to Denver and Dijon. Okay. If we can make it work to get Zach Bond in Denver, I'd be all for it.
I know that's the catchy thing because he was on the Super Bowl winner and like he's got connections to Sean Payton, but I just don't foresee us pouring that much money into that position. Doesn't matter who it would be. It's just the money that would be tied to that position for a free agent could be better spent, in my opinion. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see, but
we'll see.
He'll be the top candidate. I mean, my God, he deserves to get paid. He played out of his mind this year.
Yeah. Okay. Jack Kenna saying we don't know bias from the NFL front office as a Raiders fan. Okay. But what I was talking about more, Jack, there, I understand you guys are the redheaded stepchild of the NFL in terms
It's true.
of
The NFL does hate you.
Yes, they really do. The bias I was talking about was, like the bias for a team.
Yeah.
Like the Chiefs have been having, and before that the Patriots, and I was saying even when Peyton Manning was in Denver, there was some referee bias for the Broncos. And I'm saying, Jack, I don't want bias at all.
I will say, Jack, although you have the longevity of maybe that discrimination from front office NFL, we're catching up because the NFL absolutely hates Sean Payton with a passion. So it's not like we're on the nice list here either.
No, Sean Payton is absolutely despised by the NFL.
He's a marked man.
Yeah, he is. And he doesn't care. Like,
true.
That's the thing about Sean Payton. He doesn't give a damn. He's like, oh, is that a target? Make it bigger.
Yep.
Maybe you'll actually get me. We got a Don Diaz, a 6'10" Mexican, our dear buddy in the house saying, how about damn Broncos? Love it, buddy. I mean, there's so many rumors to the Broncos, and I've got so many articles that I've been reading this week and some cool stuff to talk about tonight. I'm so excited. We got, let me see, Jack Kenna calling both of us out about our hockey, saying, Jay, give it a year or two, but Sharks will catch your avs.
Okay. You got Alexander Gorgiev. Good luck with all that. Good luck with all that. You got young talent, I will say. Like
there's a reason
stellar young.
There's a reason we let him go.
Yeah, but Good luck.
And this guy, this new guy in the net, Blackwood. I mean, the dude's a brick wall. I love him.
Yeah,
I
he
love
reminds
him.
me a lot of Darcy Kemper on our cup here.
Yes, yes, he does.
Uh-oh, you're out. You're cut out. But yeah, the Avs are going to be cup contenders. Oh God, what do they call it? The Four Nations tournament going on right now. That'll be really fun to watch, but it's kind of cool to have a little break for the NHL on the precipice of the NBA All-Star break. Yep, you're back now.
Am I back? Okay, good. Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say before I cut out there that Blackwood also has a great glove, which is something that was missing with Georgiev. For me, so I'm really liking this new goaltender for the Avs. But let's see here, going down. Got to get through a few more comments here, and then we're gonna get to some awesome Broncos topics. We got let's see. Okay, Ray has popping in. Raiders losing to Tampa was a beautiful thing too.
The John Gruden Bowl.
The John Gruden Bowl. Broncos coming in saying, seems like Chiefs fans really accepted their loss. Yes, they did, but not without a whole lot of tears.
Oh my God, dude. Did you see the circus that was FS1 the day after for Nick Wright? Oh my God.
You know what? I didn't, but can you send it to me?
Dude, I will. So they pulled out all the stops. They had a marching band. They had a bunch of different singers come into the studio and sing like in Nick Wright's ear, like Mahomes' worst game of his life. He sucks. Like just berated the man. And he went on Twitter at the end of the day and was like, this is literally the worst day of my life. So thank you, world. Amazing.
Don't thank the world.
To a better person.
Don't thank the world, Nick Wright. Thank you, Chiefs, for crapping the bed.
Couldn't have happened to a better person.
Let's see. Going down, a few other ones that we haven't talked about yet. Spence is in the house saying would love Zach Bond, but I think it's his annual. I think his annual salary demands just doubled after getting that interception. Speaking of interception, I need to go grab a few Kona beers since we aren't on this week.
I haven't been able to tap in live, but obviously I love Bronco Breakdown. But they are rebranding, and I don't know when that's exactly happening. Maybe I missed. I don't
either.
They're completely.
I need to call Bronco Bill and find out.
Yep.
Because I haven't talked to him in a while.
A lot of exciting news for that Friday show on MHRT Network. So look out for that.
Our good friend, the Broncos host for the Wild Wild West over on MHRT Network, Richie Richey, coming in saying, Good evening, gentlemen. Because why not? Got another 2 feet of snow coming my way. Yeah, it's about to slam all of us down here too, buddy. It's coming through. Jay's kids have already been called out of school for tomorrow. There's a good chance mine will either be called out tomorrow or the next day. It's gonna hit us here too. So we all totally understand. Spence wants to know from you, Jay, what is your beer of choice? We can add it to my weekly order paid by Bronco Bill.
Well, I'm just going Coors Light tonight, but my actual favorite, I'd say grocery kind of beer would be Deschutes Fresh Squeezed out of Oregon, Bend, Oregon. So
I'm I don't drink like I used to, but I do still have a beer every now and then. It's either Corona or Modelo. I love me some cervezas. My favorite beer is German beer. Yeah. I absolutely love real German beer. I have a membership at a local German beer house here. It's my favorite, but it's so hard to find real German beer on the shelf. So I stick with the cervezas like Modelo or Corona when I'm just drinking at home. Let's see. Okay. We got David Yonkin coming in asking us, who do we see the Broncos targeting in free agency the most? Wow, that's a loaded question.
It's a good bridge,
David. Question.
So Johnny, where do you want to start with this? Do you want to just go big picture, broad stroke, positional, or do you want to get into the weeds here of specific people within those positions?
Let's
Where do you
start
wanna
with
go?
position. Let's start with position of need and then go from there.
Okay.
We're just talking free agency, not draft on this question. So I say we start with it, name a position that we have need at, and then we can, if we want to wade in.
You cut. Yep. Well, I will go first. I will go first with my first position of need just from free agency. I'm separating. There are specific positions I want drafted and not free agent, but I would say my top free agent would probably be a split between safety, where I love Jeremy Chin, Steve Atwater's nephew. Come on home, bud. Or inside linebacker. Because I think if you could get a veteran inside linebacker on good money, that would be a big swing for our defense. Kind of like a Bobby Wagner went to the Commanders last year and made a huge impact on their defense as a captain,
absolutely.
as a green dot. So I'm looking for one of those vet cuts.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in the same boat as you. I've been talking a lot this week with people, but especially Isaiah. We've been on the phone a couple times talking about this, and one of the things that we talked about was that I would go veteran for our defensive positions of need.
Yes,
and keep our offense young. And so do the best we can to address. Maybe I'm not saying don't go get anybody on offense in free agency. That would be stupid. But I'm saying, like, when you're going to go pay big free agency money to a veteran, pay it for defense.
100% agree.
And so I really like what you're saying. And it's obviously our biggest defensive position of need right now is inside linebacker. And that's why, the idea of Zach Bond is such an intriguing one.
It is.
And actually, while you kind of delve into it a little bit more, Jay, I'll go ahead and I will bring up a little bit more here.
Options.
Some options for that position real quick.
And I would love to say defensive line, but there is a history of duds in free agency of defensive linemen, because much like tackles, like a left tackle for a team, if you have the option in free agency to go get a left tackle, it's probably a pretty flawed left tackle. Same goes for interior defensive linemen. Those are guys you draft. And that's why Nick Kendall's of the world and a lot of other people out there are banging the table for first round defensive interior. What was successful with Philadelphia is the depth of their defensive line. And so that just continues to go to the premise of that we need to, fortify that line in the trenches. Our offensive line's good. We need to look at the defensive line. So I would not look at free agency for defensive line. That would be
no.
Draft it. Yep.
Draft it.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I completely agree with you. Not that DJ Jones hasn't been okay for us, but he definitely wasn't the splash we thought he'd be
He's
when
mid.
he came over from San
He's
Francisco.
mid. He's serviceable.
I mean, granted, okay, we got pretty lucky with Zach Allen.
We did. That was a little different though, because he kind of came with Vance Joseph in a way, if you think of it that way. Because
speaking of, how about the fact that Vance Joseph will not be leaving Denver this season?
That's a big plus. That's a big addition in and itself. Mm-hmm. It is.
And we'll get more into that here in a little bit, but I just
better than starting over.
Absolutely.
What do you think? Just while you're looking that up, my guy is, and I know that Holland has been another name that's been floated out there for safety, but I'm a Jeremy Chin guy, dude. I would love the thumper Jeremy Chin. He's got attitude. He's got his uncle's swag about him, and I just feel like our defense has been missing the Kareem Jackson, the TJ Ward, the grit to us that we need someone that's gonna go wreck shit. and I want that kind of personality for a safety. Brandon Jones is great, but he ain't that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got these names up for the inside linebacker position, Jay, and
Let's hear that.
one of them you literally already mentioned, and that's Bobby Wagner. Is slated to be a free agent. Levante David, I would not be opposed to Levante David.
Yeah, I'd sign me up for that. That's going to be a lot of money, though.
Well, I mean, this last season, his annual was 8.5.
That's not bad, actually.
It's not too bad. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to pay him a little bit more than that.
Yeah,
but go up to 9.5, 10. Bobby Wagner was making 6.5. Devondre Campbell from San Francisco is on that list. Willie Gay is on the list from New Orleans. That might be one to look at, considering we know he has a connection to Sean Payton.
Sure.
And he was only making 3 last season. So I'm not saying that that's going to be a thing, because I'm not sure that I feel like Willie Gay is really that answer. But and of course the list just decided to disappear. There we go. Our own Cody Barton is on that list. Denzel Perriman.
Cody Bartman's been serviceable. He's been pretty dang good. I think he's just has been given too much responsibility, and he's played a little outside of his own role. I guess I'd say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, other notable names. There's really not that many.
David
Devin
definitely
Bush
agrees. Inside linebacker Devin Bush, I loved coming out of the draft, but he's kind of been a dud thus far in the NFL.
Yes,
so
he has.
I would be kind of out on that.
Devin White from Houston's on that list. I mean, that's really the biggest names. Obviously some guys will probably end up getting released as well. Yeah. But as far as free agents that are set to be free agents go, probably the biggest 3 names on the biggest 3 names on that list would be Levante David, Bobby Wagner, and Devondre Campbell.
I'd be a Levante David, even though that just boils my blood. He's a Nebraska Cornhusker. I'll allow it.
Levante David. I mean, what he did in the Super Bowl with Tom, in the Super Bowl with the Bucks.
Yeah,
I would take him in this linebacker room in a heartbeat.
So these are all guys that are a little past their prime, maybe. Probably not the greatest in coverage, but that's not necessarily what you're looking for. I would say, I guess Alex Singleton's technically still on contract. You don't know what he's going to look like, after the injury. But at the end of the day, you just, I would like to have flexibility at that position. So maybe you sign one of these vets and then you still draft someone. I'm still about drafting someone, but you're not going to use a premium pick on it.
I would love to point out, Jay, we have on this show very first ever super chat.
Super duper chat.
David Youngkin is our very first super chat for this show. I am so pumped right now to see that at $4.99. That is a generous,
appreciate you, David.
Generous donation, Mr. Youngkin. He says, "Does Peyton talk about defense? So do they go defense in round 3 through 6?" Yes, maybe not all the 3 rounds.
I would say 4 down. I would like our first 3 picks to be but I don't know if I'd even say that. I'd like maybe first round to be interior defensive line, depending, almost like a best player available for first rounder at 20, unless we're trading down. But definitely out of the first 3 picks, 2 of them are going to be a running back, tight end. Don't know where, in what order, whom, but
agreed.
2 of those are got to be 2 positions you hit.
And you're going to have to. We're going to have to address the defense some in the draft. I mean, no doubt.
Sure, but later on,
later on,
5th, 6th,
4th round, yeah. Well, we don't have a. We don't have a 6th. That's what it is. We don't have a 6th.
But we have 2 5ths.
Yes,
we double up on 1 round.
Yeah, we do.
Right. I don't think we have a 6.
Yeah.
And I want to clear something up, just to fact check real quick. Kona Spence, you are right. Coors Light is terrible, but that is just what was in my fridge for tonight.
Don't let our grandmother hear you say that, Jay. She might come unglued.
And actually, I'm actually a banquet person if I'm drinking.
And that's true. Grandma is about Coors Banquet as well.
But you are not at all wrong, Kona Spence. It is poison.
You know, we pretend to love it because we're from there.
But it's garbage.
It was the first light beer I ever drank before I knew better.
Sure.
You know?
It was
and then
fine
then
in my 30s, not so much.
Yeah. And then a buddy of mine brought over Budweiser, and I tried Budweiser, and I was like, oh, so Coors Light really is piss.
Yeah, it's water with a little syrup. Yep, correct.
But
I also want to throw this up here. Richie says VJ not leaving will mean poor adjustments. Great week of practice though.
Okay.
He's having the time of his life.
Okay, so I had it backwards, Jay. We are picking 1 through 4 in rounds 1 through 4. We don't have one in the 5th. Then we have 2 in the 6th.
Okay, all right. So it's flipped. All right.
So
we'll
also
see if that sticks.
Again, I just want to like throw out massive appreciation to David Youngkin for our very first ever super chat.
Absolutely,
that was
dude.
Awesome. That was awesome.
Appreciate you.
Jack Kenna asks us, what about trading up for Ashton Genty?
So
or wait, yeah, that's who you're talking about. You said Gentry, but I think you're talking about Ashton Genty.
Yeah. So you go for it first, because I have a lot to say on this. No,
hard pass. No, I'm not. I'm not trading up to draft a running back in the first round. No, absolutely no. That's all I'm going to say. I don't even need to justify it.
All the people that I respect hold Gentry in high regard, and I just don't get it. I don't understand it, because the things he is very good at are things that aren't going to be available to exploit in the NFL. He doesn't have breakaway speed. He doesn't have that great a vision. He is amazing at breaking tackles and bouncing off people. And that's just, in my opinion, a sign of the competition that he played. And that's just not going to be a repeatable.
And what division was he in again? I mean, it's Boise
Mountain
State.
West.
Yeah, Mountain West. Come on.
I mean, you're beating up Nevada. Great job.
Yeah, no. Me personally, like I said, I would not, for any of these running backs, I would not trade up in the first round to get any running back. It doesn't.
I wouldn't either.
And I say but only in that I do have a favorite running back in this draft, and it is not Ashton Genty. It is Devin Neal.
Ooh, but that's later on here. That's later on.
I know. I'm just saying. I love if I had a dream running back for the Broncos to target and get, it would be Devin Neal from Kansas.
I wouldn't be upset about that, because that's a high value pick, because he's gonna go in like the 3rd, 4th. My guy's been Caleb Johnson all the way. Big 10, big back that has amazing catch out of the backfield ability, is more in line with kind of what we're talking about as a joker that can do everything. I love Caleb Johnson, and I don't think Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. I think that's also some dud in there as well. I think that's a lot of riffraff. But that's just me personally.
Yeah, I mean I like them both. But getting back to the original topic of I guess we really covered it. Inside linebacker, that's our biggest position of need. The first one I would target in free agency. I said, of the guys on the list of free agency, Levante David would be my choice.
I would agree with you. So I love Bobby Wagner, but at the end of the day, he's up there in age. He's, there's a reason
Levante David.
So
But-
you're right. You're right. I don't know.
I mean, Levante
Hard
David is
decisions on
35. Bobby Wagner's 34 and a half.
Dang. I didn't know Levante
So-
David was that old.
He is,
Woof.
but look at how he's still playing.
Woof.
Look at
Yeah.
how he's still playing, though. I mean, whew,
don't
you
know.
can't question it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. They always have a strategy, and we know that they're going to address it somehow.
Yep.
So I'm
And
not
there's
too.
always-
here
There's
comes
always
Mundungus saying Zach Bond. Like,
there's always veteran cuts that you don't expect that was not
Mm-hmm.
on anyone's bingo card, and that actually really usually happens in safety and linebackers because those are expendable positions in a veteran
Mhm.
salary sense of a salary dump. So that's
And-
what I
and-
would
and
look toward.
that's why we said it earlier in the show, Mundungus. We were talking about Zach Bond already, and I'd be all for it if you can get it for the right price. Let me pull it up real quick, see if I can pull up.
He's earned
what
top
his-
market though. He's gonna get
maybe
paid.
not top market. Okay, like top market right now is 20 million at that position, and I don't think he's there yet.
Yeah,
Um,
I would agree, but he played out of his mind. He played really well. Mundungus commented on X here. I would trade up to 11 to get Giunti, and I think he's trolling there. There ain't no way. I would hope not, sir. I would hope not.
Yeah,
let's see
I
here.
wouldn't want that either. Okay, let's see.
Uh,
So Zach Bond here.
Richie also
Currently-
said his father told him to never drink light beer, and he agrees with him. You're right. As a standard, you really shouldn't drink light beer. It's kind of like all the drinks that say no sugar. Those are actually the things you should avoid because fake sugar is way worse for you than real sugar.
Oh yeah. But
Way
that's why I
worse.
use, as a diabetic, that's why I use stevia, because it's derived from a plant.
Sure, there are natural sugar alternatives, but
Mhm.
there's a lot.
I don't touch
terrible.
I don't touch that Splenda or that sweet and low crap. No, it may not taste as good as those, but I sweeten stuff with stevia. So stevia in the raw.
Oh,
But,
and Mundungus clarified he is not trolling. He would take Genti as essentially a top 10 pick. Good God, no. It's just absolute pass for me.
Yeah, I'm out on
don't-
that in a big way.
I don't see him
I'm
the
just out
same
on that.
way.
Mundungus also says, "How the hell did you do that with the font?" I will show you later, my friend. I will call you.
Magic.
I will tell you. Yeah, imagination. No, but all right. So Zach Bond, okay, we're saying that he's earned top dollar, but guess what? His base salary this last season, for the 2024 season,
Yep.
1.125 million.
Well, we know that's not like
I know that. I know that
realistic.
you're not going to get him for that. But we just saw that Levante David is up at 8 million.
yeah.
Okay. The highest salary cap hit for inside linebacker right now, or for the linebacker position, is 20. Okay. You're not going to, he's not going to get anybody to jump him up to
Yeah.
$20 million.
You're not wrong. You're not
So
wrong.
you could probably go get him for that, for 7, 8, or right around the Levante David range right there. That wouldn't be unheard of. You could get him.
Well, I guess I would love to know, and this is just me asking out loud. We are honed in on him because that's a position of need and we have connection from a Sean Payton perspective. But is the rest of the league, because of how he's performed with the Eagles Super Bowl champions, clamoring for him as well? He's like the hot guy right now. But
Yeah.
are we with orange and blue glasses looking at him like that? And the rest of the league maybe isn't holding him in as high a regard as we are. You know what I mean?
But I would love to point out pre-Super Bowl, before the interception in the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl victory, people all over Broncos country were already clamoring to get,
You're
and talking
right.
about getting Zach Bond here next season.
You're right.
Because we know Philadelphia is not going to, they won the Super Bowl. Good on them. They've got to start making some cuts though. They're going to have to make cuts this season. And he's probably one of the most likely in Philadelphia to get cut. And so beyond even though yes, now there might be more interest from other teams
Yep.
because of the Super Bowl. Broncos Country's already been talking about Zach Bond long before the Super Bowl took place.
You're very right. You're very right.
Damn dogs. Anyway, but so I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but the connection to Sean Payton definitely helps.
You're right.
So
Mundungus brings
now
up
we've lost you, Jay.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure what's
I can
going
hear you.
on there.
I'm all good. Nope.
Nothing. Mundungus says needs are addressed in free agency, wants are in the draft. Okay, I mean not always, but sometimes.
All right.
You can
It's
see
you,
them
Johnny.
sometimes. Oh, D-Rock.
D-Rock says I'm good.
You're good.
For once
I'm going to drop
in my
out
life.
for just a minute.
That's okay.
I'll be back.
Once in my life, I'm good. My God. But Mundungus, I totally agree with you. I mean, needs are addressed in free agency and wants are in the draft. I would say going off of the beaten trail of what we were talking about before, in that we need to keep the same time span of our offense as Bo Nix and keep our offense young and on the same trajectory as him. The only buck to that system that I would make would be a tight end, a veteran tight end. And I guess the negate to that would be we have Adam Trautman for one more year. So even if we draft Loveland in the first round, we still, I think, need a guy that is a bridge person in the tight end room because we've been just so terrible in that realm. So I would like, Juwan Johnson from the Saints. Or
I was about to say it. I was about to say Juwan Johnson.
I know Mike Gesicki from the Bengals have been floated as well. Some sort of bridge tight end I think would be really useful and helpful. I don't know if they envision Trautman being that, but we do have him for another year. There's no reason to get rid of him. But I think like Lucas Kroll's time is over.
Oh yeah.
I don't know anyone else that would be in that room, honestly. Troutman's the only one.
And even his days are limited
Fringe.
in Denver.
Very much so. You're right.
And by the way, I just want to, David Youngkin says turn up the hearing aid. As a guy who actually has hearing loss, I feel very triggered by that statement. So thank you. I'm just kidding. I really do have hearing loss. However, I don't wear a hearing aid. No, I don't know what happened. My earbuds just decided to suddenly disconnect from my computer. So I suddenly couldn't hear you. But I got them reconnected. We're both back now. But I love the idea of Juwan Johnson, and he's already said that was one of our topics of discussion tonight. He's already said he would love to reunite with Sean Payton and come to Denver. So,
Benjamin Albright, I saw on X, floated that it is just a matter of time. It's not an if, it's a when Taysom Hill gets released by the Saints because of cost cutting. Taysom Hill makes a boatload of money, and that was Sean Payton's doing. But he's technically a tight end, although he does everything. But he's
a Swiss Army knife.
If you want to talk about a joker as a bridge person, I would rather have Taysom Hill than the money we would pay for Deebo Samuel. I'll tell you that buddy. Now. That's a whole nother discussion if you want to get wide receivers.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's another topic of discussion for tonight for sure. Is all of these wide receivers that are being connected to the Broncos. Cooper Kupp, a likely landing spot is what I've heard. Out
of all
Deebo
of them,
Samuel,
that's the only one I would see is Cooper Kupp. But for the right price, right situation, like it's got to be a lot of other things got to fall into place for Cooper Kupp. But like just personnel wise and who he represents to our offense, I could see that. But certainly not Deebo. And I'm even moving myself off the train of Godwin, of T. Higgins, of any of
I'm
these
not
other,
off on Godwin. I'm not off on Godwin.
But I just don't think it's going to happen. Like,
no, I'm sorry.
Let someone else overpay for him. It's a money thing.
I don't know. He's good, man. He's really good.
He is.
And all three of those guys have injury history. Like, so honestly, if you're putting those three, Debo Samuel, Chris Godwin, and Cooper Kupp on the list, or as like the the three guys,
I think we
I'd
can
go
all
Godwin.
agree. I think we can all agree we're not buying T. Higgins. There ain't no way
God.
we're buying T. Higgins.
No.
That we're out.
Nope,
So,
I'm out on that one.
I agree.
D-Rock saying, I'll take a Wilson.
That's not happening either. That's not happening.
No, not now that Devontae Adams is out in New York. There's no way they're letting Garrett Wilson
go. That whole regime's gone. Like Daryl Moogie.
Yeah.
Good. Cheers to Daryl Moogie, but he's ended that whole era now for the Jets.
Any discussion that there was of trading for for Garrett Wilson, it's gone, dude.
Yeah, it's over.
With both Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers out of New York, there's no way they're going to trade Garrett Wilson right now.
Now that does open up Lazard to come to Denver, which has been highly coveted, and I will all day long sign up for that compared to the continued targets and snaps that Lil Jordan Humphrey gets, because that would be the replacement. Yeah. Well, that would be the replacement. But I think Lazard would be a show that, and that's the interesting thing, and that's why it's always interesting that free agency comes before the draft pretty significantly, more than a month. Is because then if you see free agents come in a position of need, then you kind of know that, like, oh, that's kind of off our draft board. Like, we're not going that route, 1 through 4. No. Wide receiver would be off the board, I think, if Lazard came. Me personally, but
it would
be interesting.
It would be very interesting. Okay, so I've got another topic I want us to get to. All right. Now, this one involves our friend, our buddy over at DNVR, Zach Stevens.
Gotta love him.
Know him. You know him. You love him. I love that we know him on a personal level. He's such a cool guy, such a cool guy to hang out with, to drink with. I mean, I love Zach, and all those guys over at DNVR. Love all of those guys. But I want to bring up this art, what he did this week in New Orleans, leading up to the big game. So I don't know if you heard about this, Jay. Have you heard about what Zach did with Chiefs players?
I don't think so.
Oh, I love doing this. Okay, Zach Stevens, he approached, I'm trying to see here how many it was. He approached 8 Chiefs players on Radio Row this week and showed them blind statistics.
Oh, I did see some
quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He showed them 2 quarterbacks, and those quarterbacks were Patrick Mahomes and Bo Nix. But he didn't tell them whose stats were whose. He just had them look at stats and pick which quarterback they'd rather play with. And in the end, 6 of the 8 players chose the second QB. Do you know who the second QB was?
Bo Himothy Nix.
Bo Himothy freaking Nix.
I thought you said go, Bo, go.
And apparently, like, the 7th player that he asked, and he didn't go into specifics about who he asked. Barely picked the first QB, and then another one asked, and then the 8th one didn't pick, just simply said which one's Patrick.
He knew where he was from. Like he knew where Zach
6 of the 8 took a look at blind stats and said that one. And then they were shown, oh, that's Bo Nix. So I know that it does nothing in the grand scheme of things, but for him to just stir that pot a little bit, just having some fun with it, like, who would you rather play with, your quarterback or mine? That's wicked fun, man.
You gotta love interdivision, like, poking the bear. Like, we all hate each other. We all know we hate each other, and we should take every opportunity to poke at each other in division. And
absolutely.
And when I say that, I also say, as an example here, Jack Kenna is triggering me right now. Captain Jack, you knock it off and get off your pirate ship. Brock Bowers is nothing compared to Bo Himothy Nix. All right. Brock Bowers is
So-
going to need a toupee in about 1
Ooh.
year already.
Ooh, so angry, Jay. Oh, David Youngkin, after I made the joke that he triggered me over the hearing aid thing, says, I wear one. Okay. I mean, that's fine, buddy. It's fine. Like I said, I'm going to have them here soon enough. I had one too many explosions and too much gunfire near my head in the Army. I definitely have some wonderful marked hearing loss, and it's only getting worse. So eventually I'll be that guy. Fun story. And it's totally on Broncos related, but I love to tell this story because it's in honor of my father-in-law who passed away last year. So in his
My apologies, Jack. You are not Captain Jack.
yeah, he is not Captain Jack Rackham. I heard it at first and thought about it, and I was like,
That's
no.
right.
But yeah. Anyway,
Okay, I stand corrected.
fun story
All you Raider
regarding
fans.
my father-in-law. God rest his soul. He some years back, 10 years ago maybe, my father-in-law, the entire time I've known my wife, he's worn hearing aids. And I don't know if anybody else has been around people that wear hearing aids and have to adjust the volume, but sometimes they make this ringing sound.
Mhm.
It has to be
Buzz.
adjusted. It's like Anyway, my father-in-law was standing in the kitchen of their house, and he had his back to me, and he was adjusting his hearing aid, and I walked up, and I don't know what compelled me to do so, but I walked up behind him, and I stood there like 3 feet behind him and started going, and he's sitting here twisting. He's like, what the
You
hell
son
is
of a
going
bitches."
on here? He's like, this is getting ridiculous. And then he'd turn it one way and I'd go higher or louder. And then he'd turn it the other way and I would change pitch or something, but I just kept it going. And I swear to God, it's like those prank videos where someone stands over like the outdoor shower, squeezing more shampoo under the person's head as they're trying to wash it out of their hair. I just kept on going. He never turned around. So I shit you not, like 5 to 6 minutes long of me just sitting there behind him going,
That's something
But
Bam
finally he
Margera would do back in the day.
finally he turns around, he looks me in the eyes and he's like, you son of a bitch. But I've laughed about that for so many years. And like I said, God rest my father-in-law's soul. I miss him so much. I know you're, and he was a Chiefs fan. So hope you caught that one up in heaven, Pop. Let's say David Youngkin, my wife keeps saying, do you hear me now? And sometimes I won't wear it. Yep, there you go.
Well, we can always have selective hearing with or without. I have gained that skill set throughout life here.
Indeed. Hey, listen, we're men. Men all have selective hearing. Okay, it's
This is
part
very
of
true.
it's part of our coding in our DNA. Okay,
Very
so
true.
other subjects. Obviously, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but we have Vance Joseph staying in Denver. Kellen Moore will be the new head coach of the Saints.
So that's signaling
So-
Rizzo's coming. We still don't have a
Exactly.
special teams coordinator. That was left vacant in intention that
You mean
Rizzo would be
Rizzy?
coming.
Darren Rizzi.
Yeah. So he's on his way. And it'll be nice to have a veteran person in that position, not a newbie. Kind of round out the staff. Another one of Sean's guys that he trusts, that he knows it's one
Hey,
thing.
and he should. They won a Super Bowl together.
Yep. That'll be
So
really
I mean,
piece
that's a huge boon to our special teams room. Obviously, and that's the thing is that what's his name? Ben Kotwicka was not the mastermind of our special teams doing as good as they did
No.
this year. It was definitely Mike Westhoff.
well, yeah, Westhoff was the guy hired, and
Mhm.
he just his early departure was the reason everything fell apart. And so I mean it was, you saw the writing on the wall even in the season for the season of what was going to happen in this offseason. So
but so I mean with Mike West, and we saw a marked drop off when Mike Westhoff announced his retirement in November. We
Yep.
saw a marked drop off in special teams play once Ben Kotwicka truly took over from November to January. And so it makes sense that he got the axe Sean Payton's not going to sit there and piddle paddle around with it. He's like, listen, dude, it's obvious that this is not the ideal scenario. So bye. Darren Rizzi coming here though. Dude has been very successful. He's won a Super Bowl with Sean Payton. There is nothing I am against with Darren Rizzi coming to Denver.
Absolutely.
And Vance Joseph is staying. The teams that had interest in him are going different routes for head coach. So he'll be here for another year. I know that earlier Rich had said something about had stated that that means
less adjustments.
Yeah, maybe. I'm hoping that with sitting and being able to watch all of the 2024 film again, he can start to make some more changes.
I would say actually to the contrary, where Vance Joseph got into trouble is he overthought it and he had too many adjustments. That's when we skated into the aspect of the cover 2 zones.
Too much cover 2 zone and
all the
cover 0.
All the crap like that when you just, hey, I know it's boring and I know it's, you don't have to think a bunch, but like keep in your man coverage or at least keep PS2's side of the field man coverage. Let him stick on the number 1 and be done with it and go zone maybe for half the field. But at the end of the day, I know injuries caused that. Riley Moss's absence was a huge knock, and coincidentally, the exact same timing of that. Same thing goes for Justin Sternad, his descension from his ascension. That really affected, I think, the play calling from Vance Joseph as well, and his comfortability and putting Sternad in a position that kind of shields him a little bit. Yes. So hopefully we get personnel in that we don't have to make those adjustments and we can get some depth that when we inevitably get injuries, which every single NFL team has every single year, that we can keep.
Although we can definitely say that we have drastically changed the amount of injuries we have sustained over the past 2 seasons. Thanks to, our new strength and conditioning team.
Yep. What team is Lauren Landau with now?
Oh, I don't know, and I don't care.
If I'm being honest, he's with somebody now, though.
I'm sure I can look it up. I would. Well, why don't you look that up? And while you do, I'm going to address this question by David Youngkin. So David asks here, how many coaching vacancies do we have? Well, so far we've had 9. Not coaching specifically. We've had 9 departures from the Broncos. 4 in the front office and 5 in coaching. So the Broncos have needed 5 coaching positions. Obviously, special teams coordinator. We've already talked about that. We also fired Greg Minuski, our inside linebackers coach. That's a bit that one didn't piss me off. That's been the position that's gotten hurt the most this season for the Broncos. Something's got to give, and so he's gone. We also lost our tight ends coach, Declan Doyle. Doesn't hurt us that bad. Our tight ends room hasn't been great. So Declan Doyle's gone. John Morton, the passing game coordinator, is also he went with where did he go?
Who?
John Morton, the passing game coordinator. Did he go to the
Bears?
Jets? No, yeah, that's right. He went to the Bears. That's right. He went to the Bears. And then Chris Banjo, who, was our special teams. I don't know. He was a special teams coach under Ben Kotwica.
Yeah.
Assistant to the guy. So there's 5 in total to include our special teams coordinator.
Yep.
So that answers that question. Jay, did you find anything to answer that question?
Lauren Landau is with Notre Dame.
Oh,
the head of Notre Dame football. Interesting. I thought he was with another NFL club now, but
it's a wonder that Audric Estime didn't come to us, Scotch tape together.
Broken. Yeah. No wonder he's got fumble problems. I'm blaming you, Lauren.
Now, David asks us, do you think with this offseason edition helps VJ, or am I missing something? What edition are you talking about, bud? I'm trying to understand.
Well, I mean, I think inevitably the addition specifically to PJ Locke's slot and Justin Sternad's slot / Alex Singleton's slot is going to allow him to just stay in his own lane, to stay in what he knows is true, what he should do, stick to his game plan. He veered off when we had some injuries to those specific slots. And hopefully, even if Riley Moss either gets hurt or takes a step back, I really think Chris Abrams-Drain is going to take a step up. And
Absolutely.
I think he's going to be a really good player to be a alternative depth if we need him to be. So
Chris Abrams-Drain, baby. Mizzou.
Yep.
Love me some Chris Abrams-Drain. And I'm going to say this too, is that, I do believe, that that PJ Locke is going to be one of our cuts.
He's depth. I'm fine with him as a backup, but like he ain't a starter.
There was towards the end of the season, they definitely exposed our need at the safety position. Now, that being said, I last week, Jay, do you remember we talked about Hufanga, the safety from San Francisco?
Yep, San Francisco.
And,
yep.
And him him being like 90% likely to be cut from San Francisco, and that Denver would be a very has been linked as a very likely landing spot for him. Isaiah made a good point to me this week that he's a strong safety.
Mm-hmm.
And PJ Locke's a free safety. However, I went back and did some research on Hufanga after Isaiah and I talked about that. And Hufanga, while he is on paper a strong safety, he has played a lot of both and both very successfully. So I still would actually be very okay with bringing him over to fill the Locke vacancy.
So it's always confused me, and maybe this is a schematic change for Vance Joseph, but I've always thought strong safety is more in the box linebacker hybrid type that's going to be more of the thumper of the two safeties. And free safety is more of the, free guy that's going to run abouts. But I classify Brandon Jones more as the free safety kind of person, and PJ Locke is the strong safety because PJ Locke was a thumper. So it made no sense to me that those two were switched.
And the thing is, the thing about that position is most of these guys have played both.
Sure.
And they're interchangeable in a lot of ways. Now, we didn't see a whole lot of that.
Joseph thing.
Yeah, and we did not see a whole lot of that when Justin Simmons was here. He pretty much stuck to the free safety position and
absolutely.
And
same
everything.
thing with Darian Stewart and TJ Ward.
Yep.
Like we knew,
but then you referenced this last season how often we saw PJ Locke as the the free safety in the box. They're interchangeable in a lot of ways. Not always. Not every player is built to play both. Just like you don't have corner. Just like cornerback is not everybody's built to be a nickel corner.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, like I said, I did my research on Hufanga, and if we get him in Denver, he can fill that slot just fine. Believe me.
I would be remiss if I didn't put a plug in. Shiloh Sanders will be available in the draft. He's a pretty good thumper, so wouldn't mind at least having another Sanders along with Drew Sanders on the defense. Let's go.
Yeah. the Sanders brothers.
Yeah. Dad's just down the street. Maybe he would keep his dad here a little longer. I'm all for that.
Hang on. I'm trying to look up what I need to here to look up who this question by Jack Kenna.
David, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate you, sir. Have a good night.
Who was it, Jay? Which coach went to the Raiders? No, it wasn't a coach. It was a front office guy.
It was an executive.
Front office guy. That's one of the 9, yeah. It's one of our executives.
He had been with us for a long time, like back to
2009.
Long time. Back with McDaniels.
Yeah. In the McDaniels era. Was there when Kyle Orton was our quarterback.
That's a tough one to swallow.
It is, but I mean, I can be okay with a lot more okay with watching front office guys, executives go with places than I can with coaches.
Well, but
You know,
as we
because
already alluded to in our staff show, we didn't lose anyone of substance. We lost a bunch of second and third fiddles. Like,
yes,
it's not any monumental staff changes. All the head guys are still here. Their assistants, they're just so good as head guys. They got their assistants promoted. Good for them. That's a sign of a strength of a program. So,
real quick,
upset.
I want to get back to this one real quick. Great show tonight, guys. Later from David. David, thank you for joining us, and hey, thank you for throwing us our very first super chat ever. Just had to thank you one more time for that. But we'll see you next week, David.
Absolutely.
So let me see. I thought I had a couple more just fun little, nuggets of okay. So one of those nuggets that I wanted to discuss. I've got a list here, Jay. Where is it?
Itinerary here.
Yeah, just kind of some stuff that like I read about and was like, oh my god, this is great. And then I just lost it. But one of them was, did you see that Sean Payton had rules for Sean McVay when they were on vacation with the Broncos quarterbacks in Cabo this week? And that was at no time was Sean McVay allowed to talk to Bo Nix.
So that is why that is the tinfoil hat in we had a Washington Commanders insider tweeting about him sending screenshots about how there's a certain available wide receiver that is, targeting Denver, and that it says in the last screenshot that Denver looks to be the place for him. And his whole cryptic tweet is about how networking is everything and who is very important. And everybody thought it was Debo because he put it out there at the same time as Debo's comments. But it really was actually about McVay and Sean Payton's vacation together. And that's why I spun it into that. I really think that's about Cup. It's about Cooper.
Well, it's actually, but here's what I was getting at. What this is about is Sean Payton actually told reporters this week that him and McVay were on vacation in Cabo, San Lucas. Bo Nix was in Cabo.
Yep.
Jarrett Stidham was in Cabo. Zach Wilson was in Cabo. Yep. And at some point, Sean had them all over to his house. He owns a house in Cabo.
And
he had them all over there. Yeah. He had them all over for dinner. But his one rule was Sean McVay is not, and this is of course a cry back to the 2021 season when out of nowhere the Matthew Stafford trade happened from the Lions to the Rams, to Sean McVay and the Rams.
Yep.
Right after both Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford were in Cabo together. So he's like, no, you are not allowed to talk to Bo.
Well, the skinny of that was that trade was decided on a drunken Mai Tai night. Yeah. And that's how Matthew Stafford ended up being a Ram. And Sean McVay called his ownership, the Cronkies, and basically said drunkenly, I got to have this guy. We already got him verbally. He's good to go. We got to make it happen, dude.
Right. Exactly. No, it's I just thought that was a fun story. And then one last little bit of Sean Payton news. Not even really news, just kind of a fun little anecdote is what he said to John Elway. Did you see that on the 40th anniversary of the John Elway trade from Baltimore Colts to the Denver Broncos?
No, I didn't see that.
He texted Elway and said, worst trade in NFL history. And of course, he was not talking about from the Broncos perspective.
Sure.
He was in every way talking about what the Broncos gave away to the Colts for John Elway back then. And for those that don't know, or, whatever, I wasn't alive when it happened. But what happened was that John Elway was drafted by the Baltimore Colts in 1983. And John Elway said to them, I will not play for you. He literally, he was set to be drafted. He also was drafted that same year by the New York Yankees. He was that good of a baseball player too. And he straight up told the Baltimore Colts, the then Baltimore Colts, I will not play for you if you do not, send me where I want to, somewhere else where I want to go specifically, I'm going to go play baseball. And so they sent him to the Broncos, and the Broncos gave up our offensive tackle that we drafted in that first round. Then we send them our backup quarterback, Mark Herman, and the 1984 first round pick. And at the time, of course, that all sounds like a lot. They get our first round pick from that season, plus another first round pick the next season, and a quarterback. That it sounded like a lot. But for John Elway to go on and win 2 Super Bowls, go to 9 Pro Bowls.
That's one of the best 30 for 30 documentaries ESPN ever made was
Yes.
the documentary about that whole draft and Marino and
yes,
dude, that draft is epic. Like that is one of the most historic drafts ever.
But Sean Payton straight up, like he texted John Elway, best. That's the only words he said in the text was worst NFL trade ever.
Yep.
And the Colts, the Colts, the son of their owner at that time, he's now the owner of the Colts now, and even he looks back on that trade and goes, "Oh, Dad, what were you thinking?"
I mean, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree because, I mean, Jim Irsay is an absolute idiot.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, that's why that franchise still is going to be in, oblivion forever. I mean, there's a reason why Andrew Luck said, I'm good. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
I don't blame him. Okay, bye.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I'm sitting here tonight and I feel like just it's fun that we're getting some like anecdotal news that we get to talk about instead of just everything about what we're going to do.
Well, dude, I mean, thank God the Super Bowl was in New Orleans because as we know, Sean Payton gets a couple lattes in him and he sings like a bird. So when the Super Bowl's in his hometown, I mean, he was making the rounds and he was talking. So
he was talking to everybody.
We got a lot of good stories out of Sean Payton over Super Bowl week.
Absolutely. And we're getting here to the end of our show and we've had a good one, guys. Just lots of really fun things to talk about. And again, I just want to say how forward I am looking to the future of this franchise now as it stands. Bo Nix is the answer. He is the guy for this team. And I mean, I don't know if we talked about it last week, but the fact that this is a guy as a rookie who got invited to come play in the Pro Bowl. And rather than take that accolade and put that on his resume, that on a person, because that's a personal accolade. That's the thing for him. To say, no, I have a procedure scheduled that I need to get done and healed up for so that I'm ready to go for this team in the spring. That kind of unselfishness for me it speaks volumes to the future of this franchise.
Yeah. And you know what? It starts from the top. You have to have leadership that trickles down to every single person on the 53. And that starts with your owner. Check. It starts with your general manager. Check. Head coach. Check. Quarterback.
Discount double check. Oh, my
check.
bad. Sorry.
The defensive NFL player of the year. Check. We check all the boxes now, man. And this would be my end point here for the night here. Although I am vehemently against having Deebo Samuel on this team, what a different world we live in that one of the top free agents coming into this offseason is specifically mentioning in interviews that he wants to come to Denver and that Denver is the spot that's about to blow up. And that's the team that's about to move waves. And that's the team everybody needs to be watching. And how refreshing is it? Because how long has it been that we've been a laughingstock of this league? We've talked about this for so many years now.
Oh, yeah.
And it is nice to have reminders from big, personalities in this league that, we are one of the big boys again. We are one of the destinations in this league. And man, it's so refreshing to be back. We're back. We're back.
Well, and I mean, not even just Debo is the one, saying, talking about the Broncos that way.
Multiple people.
I mean, look at Steve. Oh God, he got his ass kicked in the as the defensive coordinator.
Spags?
Yeah, Steve Spagnuolo. Look at what he said last week about the Broncos. I mean, he had glowing reviews about the Broncos.
Yeah.
And literally was saying like that is the team to be watching for.
Yep.
Like they haven't had to take us seriously in a long time. And then now they know we have to take them seriously.
Yep. And that's why it's so go ahead, Johnny.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's so refreshing that's what we're hearing.
And that's why I just want to have a reflective time here of like Broncos country. We can debate about what position is need, what position is a want, where we go in the draft. But like we should all take a second and just be so thankful that like we're heading into a season where we don't have to talk about head coaching vacancies and who we're hiring and what quarterback we're targeting in the draft and all of this, crap that bottom feeder, bottom dweller teams have to deal with every single year. We're past that. Like we have ascended to where we belong as a prominent franchise in the NFL. And it's just so nice to get back to that point. And to, be among the company that we should be keeping in.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to say, if I may, I'm trying to find this. Hang on one second. Yeah, sorry, Jay. Continue for just a second.
100%. I just see a lot on X about Bronco country debating each other, having maybe some, vile words to each other of you're dumb for wanting a, Luther Burden in the first round, or you're dumb for wanting this type of player. Where, I don't think that this is where the team's needs are. But how far have we come from debating monumental positions, specific major elements to this team? Like, who gives a crap about who our inside linebacker is? That is chump change, small potatoes. In the grand scheme of building a roster, who cares? We're
Agreed.
So far past that. We've got the main stuff in place already. Like, we've done it, guys. We're here.
It's there. Listen, I said it. I think I said it with you last week, Jay. It's a puzzle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And building an NFL franchise, building a winning NFL franchise is a 1,000-piece puzzle. And you got to get the right piece in place. You got to get the corners in first, and then work the edges. And of course, I'm not talking about cornerbacks and edge rushers. Okay. Like don't get weird. I'm talking about the edges of the puzzle. After you find the corner pieces, then you start to fill in the picture, and one piece at a time, the whole picture starts to come into view. We're at a point now where we can see what the picture is.
We do.
We're just missing a key piece here and a piece here and a piece here to fill in the last few blank spaces so that it's a complete picture. It's close. We're going to do it. I'm so pumped about the future, Jay. And by the way, I just want to say next month, March 14th, will mark the 4-year anniversary of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. So we are coming up on our anniversary here, Jay, and I'm a month away.
Oh my God.
I can't believe we are still doing this, and I love that we're still doing this. And guys, if you're watching right now, please, help us continue to build the family as always by liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting. Share it out there. Tell your friends. I know that every single Broncos fan knows at least one other Bronco fan out there somewhere. Tell them about us. Let them know you guys have got to go check these guys out. This is a great show. We have a lot of fun together. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Find the audio version of our podcast wherever you listen to your favorites. Then, of course, jump on over to our partner where we're simulcast on MHRT Network. Like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, even on Instagram. We love all of you, Broncos Country, because Broncos Country is one gigantic family.
This is
So
true.
thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for everyone that was in the comments. Pretty exciting. We had our very first super chat tonight, which was epic and so awesome. So thank you for that. Guys, we will be back next Tuesday with the next edition of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue. But don't forget to check out Broncos Talk tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 6 Mountain with Adon Diaz and Elias Balderrama, Bronco Libre. They will have a good time. We'll have a good time with them. There you go. Put it on, Jay. Mine doesn't fit.
Oh, boy.
And then don't forget on Fridays, for those of you that speak Spanish or know Broncos fans that speak Spanish, we have the only entirely Spanish fan-led Broncos podcast in the world in Viva Los Broncos. That will be Friday at 6 Mountain. Guys, thank you so much. We'll be adding a lot more new shows and new content this offseason. We appreciate you, and we cannot wait to see you again. With that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Here's a big mile-high salute to all of you. Go Broncos!
Jokic for MVP. Let's go.
Orange and blue, we're here for you. Talking Broncos all day through. No stopping us, we're on the loose. Come join the crew, no bad news. Podcast vibes so fresh and true. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Catching up on all that we knew. Hit play, let the episode